Lincoln observed the practice of law tends to reveal one's true character. Lincoln noted that, quoting again, as a peacemaker, a lawyer has superior opportunity to be a good man, ending the quote. Sadly, much of society's criticism may be deserved regarding a lack of character among fellow members of our noble profession. An anecdote comes to mind of a very pompous lawyer who was addressing a panel of prospective jurors. The lawyer asked, "Any of you dislike lawyers?" Well, the tension built, and the judge finally broke the silence. "I don't like lawyers," the judge. Okay, think about that. It's a rough crowd. As a lawyer, you'll often meet people at their lowest ebb in life. Therefore, opportunities will abound to be that good person at a critical moment in time, to do the right thing at the right time. And while you have the opportunity to be good, to protect the innocent, to ensure justice is done, seek equity in each matter, encourage amicable resolution whenever possible, and, dare I say, to bill appropriately, the temptation to take the easy road must be resisted. You must commit to doing good as a lawyer. Take Lincoln's challenge to heart each day to do good. Well, what is good? Or as lawyers, we might ask, what is just? In order to answer that question, we must first look at the source of true justice. What is that source? On this issue, Lincoln commented, again quoting, this is actually President Lincoln at the time, "My concern is not whether God is on our side. My greatest concern is that we be on God's side, for God is always right." Lincoln clearly recognized that all true authority flows from God alone, and that we should seek to align our values, ideals, thoughts, and desires with God's values, ideals, thoughts, and desires. Recognizing that God Himself bestows our rights and liberties upon us, the founders of our great country identified certain rights as inalienable because these rights are God-given. Our entire American political system is based on this unique premise, as clearly stated in the Declaration of Independence. It was this belief that drove Lincoln and others like him to recognize not just the horror, but also the injustice of slavery. Slavery was wrong because it was contrary to rights that are God-given to each of us. One such example of another who recognized certain rights as God-given was William Wilberforce in England. Wilberforce headed the parliamentary campaign against the British slave trade for 26 years until the passage of the Slave Trade Act in 1807, which ultimately led to the Slavery Abolition Act 1833, which abolished slavery in most of the British Empire. Significantly, removing God from the picture necessarily removes any and all claims to any and all rights to equality, liberty, or even life itself. Removing God also necessarily removes all meaning and purpose for our existence. President Lincoln recognized the foundational importance of focusing on what God thinks about things, and we need to do the same. Lincoln and Wilberforce spoke and acted on behalf of slaves who at the time were powerless, unable to speak and act on their own behalf. I wonder, are there powerless victims of injustice today, unable to speak and act on their own behalf, who may need you as a lawyer to speak and act for them? I wonder. Having heard from Lincoln, let's hear from one who knew him well regarding the source of Lincoln's wisdom and effectiveness as a lawyer and statesman. According to one of Lincoln's secretaries, William Stoddard, Lincoln was an exceptional listener. Stoddard, who had numerous opportunities to observe Lincoln up close and personal, made this observation, again quoting Stoddard, "He was the most teachable man and asked questions with a childlike simplicity, which would have been too much for the false pride of many a man far less well-informed. His fund of knowledge was, as he himself declared, very largely made up of information obtained in conversation." That's ending the quote. Always remain teachable. Never be afraid to ask questions. Stay humble. Shun pride. Embrace the wisdom of King Solomon, as I believe Lincoln did, and recognize that pride goes before destruction. For some of you, the bar exam is behind you, and for others, just around the corner, again, as John pointed out. In either case, lean in, study hard. To you, the graduating class of 2013, I wish you well. May God bless each one of you and all that you put your hand to do. Thank you.